Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Keys to Mastery for September 29th to October 1st, 2022. For those of you who are new, my name is Arlene Grace, and I am a spiritual coach, a numerologist, alchemist, and conscious channel. I invite you to take whatever resonates for you and leave the rest behind, and allow yourself to be open to receiving the information, allowing your heart to discern what is true for you. This is energetic. And so as I'm channeling, the frequencies are shifting you on a cellular level. And so as I'm feeling into the energy today, it feels as though over the next couple of days, it's going to feel a little bit tumultuous. And when I say tumultuous, it feels like there's a shakeup. And we can really see that in the world today. We can see that being mirrored in our physical experiences with the hurricanes that are happening, right? It's hurricane season. And so as I'm feeling into this energy, you can imagine that there's this shakeup that's happening in the outside world, the material world globally. And there's also this shakeup that's happening within you. So we're at the tail end of September and we're moving into a new energy in October. We're also in Mercury retrograde, which is coming into completion in the next couple of days as well. And so imagine this shakeup is inviting you to ask yourself the question, am I congruent? Am I doing what I say, or am I allowing the conditions to dictate what I do? Right? I.e., with Mercury retrograde, there are this propensity to really take a look at ourselves and to look at our relationships with others. Many of us who are in relationship, or even in anything that we do, we are always evolving, including our own relationships, our relationships to self, our relationship with our lover, our relationship with our kids, with our family, with our money, with the things. We are always being invited to shift our own perception of ourselves. That's how we grow. In how we perceive others, and how we perceive our money story, our business, our clients, all the things. And that when something stays stagnant, we'll talk about a relationship with a lover, when it stays the same and we do not allow it to grow or to evolve, it will actually start to fall into entropy. And so you may be noticing that things are falling into entropy in your life, that things are starting to fall away. And so many of us are in this place where, you see everyone talking about the law of attraction. I want to manifest the things. I want the car. I want the money. I want the success. I want the lover. I want the ideal house, all of the things. We talk about attraction. And so people move in this place of, I need to feel the frequency and be the frequency so I can have the things. I need to be the car in order to have the car, and et cetera, et cetera. But no one ever talks about the law of aversion. And the law of aversion is really coming into play today. It's been playing its own role this entire time. And the law of aversion dictates that as we are falling into entropy, as we are creating new experiences in our life, i.e., I want to shift the dynamic with my partner, with my lover, to be deeper intimacy, deeper communication, deeper, sexy time, all of those things, that things are also falling away. And so in the law of aversion and the law of attraction, though both those things are happening simultaneously, we have those that are being attracted into our field that are matching the frequency of what we're putting out in the world. And we have aversion, things that are falling away. But many of us in the aversion are trying to hold on to those pieces when they aren't a match. We are holding on to the people in our life because we just want them to change, when really and truly they're not matching the frequency. They're not matching the intimacy, the communication, the sexy time, all of those things. And so instead, we judge the aversion and we try to hold on to it, when really and truly it's falling into something else. Will we allow it to fall away? And so the energy today is that. The energy today is the eight of hearts, right? And so when you think about an eight, It's constantly moving in flow, right? We move it onto its side, it's an infinity. And so we are that energy. Our body actually transmits energy out of our body in the form of an infinity. And many of you may know that as Q. And so imagine we have an intention, we have a thought. I desire a deeper relationship with my lover. And it feels like connection. It feels like communication. It feels like intimacy. And as I feel that moving through my body, this info state is now in my heart. This info state now becomes amplified in the heart. And so I move this out of my heart to magnetize those that are that, the money, the house, the car, the experiences, so that that can come into form. In that, I am in the 8, I am in my power. In my power, I attract those experiences that match this frequency. In my power, I also see what is being averted. And so in coherence with my mind and my heart, I can allow those things that are being averted to move in a different direction. That's not part of my path. And so imagine we've spent this month, September, noticing our patterns, noticing where there were distortions, noticing where we may have had the rose-colored glasses, noticing where we might have been trying to change others or others have been trying to change us, noticing the places of control, noticing the shame, and noticing all of these patterns just rising up for our awareness so that we can decide a different pattern. And all of that coming down to the frequency of what it is that you want to experience. So that we can move into October, which is now a 7, which is all about leap, trust, leap and trust. And so if I bring it back to the question of, are you congruent? If your mind and your heart are moving out an energy of, I desire the intimacy, the communication, the connection, the honesty, all of these things, am I willing to act on behalf of that? Am I willing to choose that? Or am I going to create more suffering and stay with the pattern? Am I going to stay with the conditions? If I am wanting to better myself, if I'm wanting to work with someone, if I'm wanting to go and, up level myself, and so I'm feeling inspired and I'm feeling the pull to work with someone. And so I decided I'm going to go do it. And then I have a condition that shows me, oh, it might cost me a little bit more. Am I willing to continue to commit to myself to be congruent with the decision that I'm going to do this? Or am I going to choose the condition that is presenting itself? And it's a choice. And so are you being congruent with what it is that you truly desire? And just noticing those things. And so today, in your observation of, am I being congruent, you get to notice those that are mirroring it back to you. Are those that are around you being congruent with what it is that they desire? Or are you attracting people in your life who say one thing and do another? And is that being mirrored within you, right? Because your key today is to focus on what it is that you want and the willingness to allow yourself to have it, right? And that brings in the blessing. It feels like you can feel the frustration building up. You can feel I can hear the thoughts of, well, I decided this thing, but, it's impractical for me to have that thing because that means that I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do that. What if that was all an illusion? What if you were just willing to decide to have what you want and allow other things to fall into place for you? Because underlying this willingness to be congruent, the willingness to do things for yourself, the willingness to go in the direction of what you want, really there's an underlying of, okay, I'm deepening my own trust for myself, right? I'm going to do the thing. And so in doing so, I am willing to act on behalf of my higher self, on behalf of what it is that I truly want. And I'm going to continue to move forward regardless of my conditions, which deepens the trust for self. And so in this idea of congruent, you get to notice the patterns that you play in all aspects of your life, in your mental thinking, in your emotional patterns, in your physical body. Are you a person that decides that they want to go and they want to have a, we'll say, fit body, but then after, feeling all of the muscle pain and all of the things, or having to pay for the gym, you change your mind? When really and truly that feeling state of vitality and well-being is what you're calling. Are you letting the condition stop you? Are you letting the pain stop you? Are you willing to continue to move forward to feeling the vitality and the well-being? And so we're finishing September strong. You can feel it, right? Now we move into Friday, and Friday we're moving into a 9-7 of hearts. And so it's a beautiful energy. And when I say that, because I have a cousin that's getting married, what a beautiful day to leap into love. Right? And so this is taking your life to a higher level. This is an energy of accountability. Here you are and you see what you see. Now, once you see what you see, you can't unknow what you know. And so here it's a place of integrity, accountability. Will you stay with this decision? Will you start to act on behalf of it? Will you do the thing? Because if you don't do the thing, you start to feel the impact of that. And the impact of that is all root. So now you're impacting your own stability. Now you're impacting your willingness to trust yourself. Now you're impacting your ability to feel success, however it is that you define it. Now we're impacting your home, your life around you, your foundation. And so in this energy, there is this willingness to take my life higher, to let go of the constraints, the dynamics, to let go of the pattern so that I can actually come into deeper trust. I'm going to trust me. I'm going to leap into choosing me and loving me even more. And so as we use this example of wanting the lover, if this lover is not matching the frequency that you are putting out there, and if the law of aversion is playing its role, are you willing to choose you? And are you willing to let go? And I'm hearing like the stories. Are you willing to let go of the stories of, oh, well, maybe he'll change, or maybe, maybe I can do this, or maybe I can be the good girl, or maybe I could be the bad girl, or maybe I could, sexy spy myself, or sexy spy, or maybe I can do whatever in order for him to respond in a different way. Maybe it's all about your frequency. And so if you're noticing that things aren't matching the frequency and you're taking that simply as feedback, because nothing has to do, I'm hearing, it has nothing to do with your value. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're pretty or whether or not you're dressed the right way or any of those things. They simply aren't a match. You at your core, you are love. You at your core, you are fucking high value. You at your core, you are whole. And so are you willing to choose you first and let other things just fall away? And so in this decision, in this journey of, okay, I'm deciding I'm going to be congruent. I'm noticing where I'm not. And so I decide I'm going to be congruent. And so I see that we are not attracting, me and my lover are not attracting. So I decide that I'm going to allow this relationship to come into completion, because that really is up leveling. You're up leveling yourself. You're up leveling the relationship. The relationship is now falling into something new. And so in that falling into something new, you're creating space for something more. And so will you allow yourself to move on that journey? Because here, your key is to be the master of the value of you. I value this relationship. I value my relationship with my body. I value the experience that I'm calling in, this frequency that I'm moving through my body, this info state, this information. I know that I am a creator and I'm creating all the time, and I'm creating this one experience. And I value that experience so much that it is loving for me to choose that experience. That's your key. And so are you willing to move in flow with that? Are you willing to allow yourself to go? Because Thursday, today you're noticing the places where you're out of sync, where you're not in flow, and the places where you can come into it. Now we move into Saturday. And so we're moving into a new energy, and the new energy is October. We're in Libra season. And so this is all about leap and trust. It's an interesting energy, and I'll dive into it more, but this energy is bringing in like something ends quick. And so in that, perhaps the decision to end your relationship with this partner, in deciding it, you don't have to act on it right away, right? You just decide it and you let the energy take it. And in that, you find that the partner that you have comes and says, hey, I don't think this is working out. So you didn't have to do a thing. You just had to be congruent. And so this person comes to you, and so there's a sudden ending. Like it feels like in October, there may be sudden endings, there may be sudden changes, there may be, there's changes that are happening structurally in the world, this kind of energy of the changing of the guards. And so we saw what happened with the Queen. And so now things are starting to change, things are starting to ripple out. We're seeing changes in the financial systems, we're seeing changes in the school systems, we're seeing changes with the bylaws and all of the things with travel, like all of these things are changing. And so in this energy of change, where it feels like this frustration continues, it begins this month, right? It continues to flow, and it's like, okay, it's almost like, am I willing to feel into my own courage? Because I saw all of these things in September. I saw all of these patterns and I made these decisions. Now will I act on behalf of them? Now will I tune into my own inner strength? It feels like battling, right? But it feels like you're battling for you. I'm battling to move through. I'm breaking through my own patterns so that I can create new ones, right? I'm no longer letting the conditions hold me. I'm no longer letting whatever someone else is telling me, what they think is better for me, to hold me. I'm no longer letting my bank account control me. I'm no longer letting my boss control my weekends, whatever those things are for you. And so it almost feels like we begin with this energy that is, I want to be the master of my own castle. I'm going to be the master of my own life. I'm choosing me. And if I'm choosing me, then I'm choosing me in every single aspect of my life. Me first, then others. And we're not talking about a place of being selfish. We're talking about, choosing what it is that you desire first and allowing things to fall into place. And so in the choosing, I choose to be the king or the queen of my kingdom. Then my key is to really navigate and to look at my life and see what needs to be burned down. And the burning down does not mean I'm going to let it all go. I'm going to, burn it all up. I'm going to, do all these things. The burning it all down is really coming into, I'm going to light the fire within me. What is the energy? What is the frequency that I'm wanting to experience in my life? If I were to be king or queen of my own life, if I were to be navigating my life because I am the authority in my life, and this is what we're beginning with October, like this is October energy. If I'm the master of my own castle, am I willing to ramp up the energy within me so I can really assess what it is that I desire? Right? We're moving out of Mercury retrograde by, I think, October 2nd. And so that slowing down starts to come back into form where our minds are now coming into our body, right? October is all, we're moving from our hearts into our body so that we can start to create and do the things. And so here it's the willingness to leap, to trust, and to do the things, but allowing that light within you to inspire you into action. It's an interesting energy. Like, it feels like a beautiful, I say beautiful, a beautiful ending of this month to lead you into what will be, I feel like the words are your greatest victory, whatever that means for you. And so allow the energy that you're feeling, allow any frustration or any feeling of, being like the idea that things are impractical, that I can't go that way. Like, allow your emotions to transform you into what it is that you desire. Let that be the fuel to turn up the light. What I'm seeing in my life is feedback right now, and I don't know that I like everything that I'm seeing as my feedback. And so I'm going to pivot, I'm going to pivot, I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to trust, and I'm going to leap, because I choose me first. I'm the master of my castle. And so this is an extraordinary energy. I don't even know. I can't get enough. And I don't know if it's because my birthday's in October. I am a Libra. But this feels really different from any other Libra season that I've experienced. It feels like things are being opened wide up for us to see even deeper truths that have been hidden from ourselves, from us, in the world, right? And so this opening, this can of worms opening, is not just what we're going to experience in the world, but it's going to be what we experience within ourselves. Us first, then the world. And so noticing those things and navigating that as you continue to go in the direction of what you want. Remembering that all of this is a choice, right? Your life, your choice, always. And so please let me know how this resonates for you. Please share any comments. Please share the message. If you are new to YouTube, then please, subscribe, like, share. Yeah. And if you are curious, if you want to dive into your numbers, if you want to dive into a deeper understanding of what is frequency and what is the frequency that's running through my body, how do I create my experiences, then I'm going to post a link below for a clarity call. And yeah, and I'd love to connect. All right. Wishing you all so much love. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.